Good afternoon, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to be taking a look at some pitching for today, the 9th of September. It is Tuesday. We do have an 11-game main slate ahead of us this evening, and we have zero weather to worry about. Most places probably lean a little better for pitching, just based on temperature and everything, but still some hitting environments out there. Atlanta, Sacramento, I guess, will always be, at the top at this point. Offenses in New York, maybe, a little cool. Upper 70s isn't all that cool, but compared to the dog days of summer, definitely a big change in temperature. A reminder that this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play in FanDuel, I would cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now with all that fun stuff said and done, let's just jump right into the games and get an idea of who may or may not be in our pitching pool once the games get started. Detroit and the Yankees, Casey Mize, Will Warren. Be honest, I'm not overly interested in either, off the top of my head. Casey Mize can have some big games, but then, this random spike 10 strikeout performance kind of seems weird considering he's topped out at 5 strikeouts since second week in June. So it's not overly exciting. He does generally keep the ball in the yard. Might be a little tougher, in this matchup against the Yankees since they do have so much power. He had a pretty strong start against the Yankees earlier in the year. But he has been much worse on the road. Lost a ton of base runners on the road. His K numbers are better, but still, allowing a lot of base runners. That can lead to some big innings. Not really something I'm interested in. And obviously, with DK being an efficiency site, high whip guys are really scary. If you were really convinced that the Yankees were going to strike out a handful of times, etc., maybe use Casey Mize on FanDuel. You don't have to deal with the efficiency side of things. But for me, I just don't see myself getting to Casey Mize. The other side is Will Warren. Not sure what to do with Warren either. The last 4 starts, 4 or fewer strikeouts. There are some Ks in the Detroit lineup. When they're struggling, they do strike out a decent chunk. The problem with Warren is, he's bypassed, 18 fantasy points twice since the beginning of July. His home numbers are definitely stronger than on the road. His K rate's stronger. Everything's strong. Fewer hits, lower whip, etc. Decent fantasy points per game on average, 18. And that's with just getting 6 wins and 14 starts. So the numbers kind of say that I probably need to play some Will Warren. I don't remember, if Detroit's been warming up or if they're still kind of cooler. Their second half of the season has been pretty rough overall. If I look, at kind of some recent numbers quick on the other monitor, averaging 5 runs a game over the last week, striking out about 9 times per game over that stretch. Just 4 home runs over the last week. I guess there probably is a route to a strong performance from Will Warren. Glaber's struggling, Riley Green kind of struggling, Gary Carpenter struggling a bit, Colt Keith struggling, Dingler struggling, Spencer Torkelson struggling a bit as well. So I guess the more I look at it, more I think Will Warren might be a GPP viable option for us. Houston, Toronto. Shane Bieber coming off of his roughest start of the season after an okay start against Milwaukee and an elite start against Miami. I do have some interest here. I don't love taking on Houston overall. They just managed to get hits, and the lineup is a little more dangerous with Jordan in it, but still, I think Shane Bieber's viable. I don't know that he has 30, what he put up against Miami, 32 fantasy point upside in this matchup, but I do think he is certainly viable. I mean, Houston has been putting up about 5 runs per game over the last week as well, so I don't know, it doesn't feel great. I don't love the price tag, but I think he's somebody that we could use. I'll kind of leave him in the maybe category, and I dig into some of his splits and everything. But on the other side, Luis Garcia, first start back from a lengthy rehab was pretty solid. Couple of home runs, but overall solid. I'm just not going to get there against Toronto. I like Luis Garcia as a pitcher, but I just don't really want to pick on a team that doesn't strike out all that much. Plus, they're playing at home. Just no thanks for me. Cubs, Braves, Cade Horton, this guy that's had a pretty decent last month or so. As far as his last start did come against Atlanta, which I talked about yesterday. One thing I just hate is pitchers making back-to-back starts against the same team. He was no-hitting them through 5 innings. 75 pitches, kind of looks like they're limiting his pitch numbers a lot. Strong performances, but still mid-70s in pitches. Another mid-70s, 70. So that might be a worry. His numbers aren't as strong on the road. That's obviously a worry as well. His K rate's better on the road, but still, overall numbers not as strong. I'm probably going to be considering him just because why not? The way that he's throwing the ball. And we know the Atlanta offense can go pretty cold, but still, I'm not overly excited about using him if they're only going to let him throw 70 to 75 pitches. That could be a worry. Spencer Strider, on the other hand, last start was also against the Cubs. Wasn't the greatest, just 1 strikeout. I don't know where his strikeouts have gone, just 8 of them, and 8 walks over the last 4 starts. That's a worry for me. I did see that he's around 20% owned, projected right now, the 3rd highest. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. With that said, I want to use him just because I feel like the upside's there. I saw a picture of him. It looks like he shaved his face and everything, so he's probably trying to change some things up, so maybe that'll ignite him. I just don't really know what to do with Spencer Strider. If you wanted to fade him, I wouldn't blame you. Get that 20% fade edge and look elsewhere, but when all's said and done, we just might have to include him to fill out our pitcher pool. We don't have many, or any, I guess, maybe slam dunk must jam in options on this slate, so that's why we might be considering Spencer Strider. Tampa Bay and the White Sox, Adrian Hauser taking on his former squad. Coming off of a pretty decent start, he gave up 4 runs, but still racked up 24 fantasy points. I don't mind him, I just don't love him. The White Sox, we know, have kind of been annoying to us, so I think people are going to utilize him. I'm just not going to prioritize. I'd rather use Yoendrys Gomez on the other side, take a shot. 1 earned or fewer in 4 out of his last 6 start, or I guess 3 out of his last 5. This wasn't a start here. Walks can be an issue, but there's strikeout upside, and I don't mind targeting Tampa Bay with pitching when they're not at home. So Gomez definitely somebody I want to utilize on DraftKings. Milwaukee and the Rangers. Chad Patrick probably not going to get there for me. Being called up from the minors. I don't mind him. It's just I don't know that he has a ton of upside in this matchup for us. Maybe I'll dig into some of his splits and everything, and maybe he makes it in. But for right now, I'm planning on him not being in my pitcher pool. Jack Leiter on the other side. 3 pretty solid starts in a row. K's have been up. I don't know if this is the spot. I'll be honest. I don't know that he's going to go in and shut down Milwaukee. His numbers at home have been much stronger, so maybe Maybe there's upside and maybe I miss out, but I just don't think he's going to be that guy for me tonight. Minnesota and the Angels, Zebby Matthews, definitely somebody I'm utilizing, just K upside in the matchup. Adele might not be in the matchup, in the game as well. So, like, the Angels lineup might not be as dangerous as it could be. So I am going to go back to Zebby Matthews. He's burned me a lot, but he flashes some upside. So I'm going to play that K upside, and Kyle Hendricks is not making it in my pool on an 11-game slate. Cincinnati, San Diego, I think both pitchers are viable. Littell, definitely viable. Just not a huge K guy. Struck out just one against San Diego. That's the problem, is does he really have enough upside in this matchup? I'm not really sure. But at 7,300, he might just end up in the pool just because we need a guy. But I don't feel great about it. Michael King made a 5-inning rehab simulated start or whatever. I think there's plenty of upside for him. When he's on, like, he has legit upside and ability. We could probably only see about 5 innings, which is a worry. But I think Michael King's in play in that ballpark against Cincinnati. St. Louis, Seattle, not really using Matt Liberatore. George Kirby, probably going to make my pool, but he hasn't looked great in 2 out of his last 4 starts. The other 2 starts were decent, just not huge upside performances. St. Louis doesn't strike out a whole lot, but still, he's far better when at home, and that's where he's at. He's probably the guy that I think probably should be the chalkiest pitcher on this slate. Arizona, San Francisco, 2 guys I'm using because we're talking about pitchers in San Francisco. Robbie Ray. Recent starts are horrendous. So if you go by those, like, we should be fading him. But 2 pretty strong starts against Arizona this season. Pretty good at home overall. Doesn't give up as many home runs. Walks are lower. His K rate's a little lower, but still, I think Robbie Ray is excellent in this spot. For upside at least. And Zach Gallen, 3 really strong starts in a row. Kind of closing out the season pretty strong. Had a rough season. But 35 fantasy points the one time he faced San Francisco. That's pretty inviting. So I will be going to pitching in that ballpark. Boston and the A's. The A's, Jeffrey Springs. I don't think I'm going to get there in Springs. Like, he just allows a bunch of home runs. Not very good at home. Being left-handed might help him a little bit in this matchup, but I'm just going to stack Boston and home run hunt, etc. On the other side, Connolly Early is projected to be called up to make his debut. Pretty strong K numbers in the minors, 132 of them in 100 innings. There's upside to him, but there's a lot of downside in this ballpark. Getting some A-stack going to make sense, but I think I am going to use some Connolly Early. I'm going to sprinkle him in. Hope some of that K upside carries over to that matchup. Last spot on the slate, we get Colorado and the Dodgers. German Marquez, not going to do it for me. I was gonna try to predict that he didn't have any 20-plus fantasy point performances. He does have a couple of them. One of them came, 2 months ago. But I'm just not using German Marquez. 4 2/3 innings against the Dodgers this season. 13 runs, 3 home runs. Just a great spot for the Dodgers to wake up offensively. On the other hand, on the other side, Emmett Sheehan, 2 starts ago, 38 DK points against Cincinnati. I'm going to go to Sheehan. I hate the price tag. 19 fantasy points against Colorado. Not the greatest, but 7 strikeouts were there. It's a big-time K upside matchup, so I'm going to use Sheehan. Really surprised to see him at a 9K price point, which probably should be there, but still it's annoying. We haven't projected as highest owned. I think Kirby should be the highest owned, but I understand why Sheehan is projected to be the highest owned pitcher on this slate. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, everything. I will drop links in the description below. For this week only, you can use promo code MILLY, MILLY, to get 20% off your membership for life for as long as you're subscribed to us. And I will drop a link to the merch store. You can check out my hoodie and every other design. Best of luck, everybody.